we're going to give our player the ability to switch between items. We'll start with keys and then again expand out to more item types in the near future. Let's go to our player and let's open up the player's input action map. So we'll double click on the actions and we're going to need to add a new action. This will be our equip next action so that we can cycle through our different items. I'm going to hit plus and just name this equip next. And then I'm going to give it a binding. So I'll click down here in the bindings and I'm just going to bind this to, I think, 3 on my keyboard. So I can just reach up, tap 3, and then go on to the next thing. You can bind it to whatever it is that you feel is the best next item button that you want, or you can even bind it to a mouse thing. But I think that 3 is just kind of like where I rest my hand all the time. I can reach up there and tap it nice and easily. I'm going to save my asset, and then we're going to go into the player inventory script and bind up to this equip next. So let's go find our player inventory. And right here where we're binding to our fire performed, let's duplicate the line and replace fire with equip next. And then let's change the method instead of use equipped item to equip next. Then we'll hit Alt Enter and generate a method for it. And then get rid of that private keyword there. So our equip next method is going to deal with changing what item we have equipped or what key we have equipped, and then eventually what item we have equipped. So to do that, to use that, we're going to need all of our equipped items in some sort of a collection so that we know what they are and we can go through them all and just activate the correct item. So inside of our pickup method, instead of just adding a key and equipping it, let's add a key to a list. So right now we set the parent to it, or we set the parent for the key, we reset the position and we set the equipped key. Let's just add it to a items list. So we'll say underscore items dot add, and we'll add our key. I'm going to generate a field for it, and it's going to give me a totally wrong type of field, I'm sure, but I'll hit F12, go up to it. Yep, we've got a private object. Let's make it a list of keys for now. We'll initialize it to a new list of keys, and then hit home, shift or control delete, and get rid of that private keyword. So now we've got all of our items that we pick up going into this list. When we want to equip the next item, all we need to do is keep track of which item should be equipped next, or which item is the next in our list, set that item to active, and deactivate all of the other items. And then also set our equipped key to that specific one as well. So to do that, we're going to keep track of the currently equipped item by index, and then increment that. So in our equip next, we'll say underscore current item index plus plus. Then we'll say if our current item index is greater than or equal to our items.count, we'll set the current item index to 0. You can see that it's trying to autocomplete for me. Current item index equals 0. I'm going to hit home, Alt Enter, and generate a field for it, which should just be an integer field. I'll delete that private keyword, and it's going to default to 0 because there's no value set. So we've got our current item index will increment when we try to equip the next item. And then if it gets to be more than the number of items that we have or equal to the number of items that we have, so say we have 2 items and our index gets up to 2, then we'll reset back to 0 because 0 will be the first item and index 1 will be the second item. Just like you see in our arrays in the inspector, same kind of thing here. So we've got our current item index incrementing and our items, or our resetting back to 0 or looping back to 0. Next, we want to just loop through each of our items. So I'll say for, and then hit tab a couple times to have it generate a loop for me. And I'm going to loop through the items dot length, or I guess it's going to be count because we're using a list and not an array. So we've got our loop through all of our items, and what we want to do is set the item to be either active or inactive based on whether or not its ID or its index matches the current item index. So we'll say underscore items dot game or items at I. We need the braces and the indexer. So this is going to get us the first one 0 at the first loop, run through the loop, and then it'll get us item 1 and then item 2 and so on until we run out of items. So the first thing will be item 0, and we're going to tell it to set its game object to set active. And we want to set it to either true or false. And it'll be true if I is equal to our current item index, and false for everything else. So to do that, we just say I double equals current item index. So it'll go true for the one that we've selected and false for all of the others. Now this will toggle the object's active state, but it's not going to set our equipped key, and we need to have that active or correct as well. So let's make a change to our equipped key, but instead of setting our equipped key inside of this equipped next method, let's turn this into a property instead. So I'm going to go to equipped key. We're going to rename it. Hit Control R, Control R. I'm going to remove the underscore and the lowercase e and make it capital. And then we're going to make it into a property. And to do that, we're going to add a getter or just an expression body property, which is a lambda statement. So do an equals and a greater than. And what we're going to make it return is underscore items at our current index. So now we'll get back the item at our current index. Now, if we don't have any items at all, we need to make sure that we don't return back an exception. So if items has no entries and we try to get item 0, it's going to blow up and give us an exception. So we also need to make sure that we've checked to see that items has at least the number of entries that we need. So we'll say underscore items dot count greater than or equal to our current item index. Then we'll return back items at that index. Otherwise, we'll just return back null and have no equipped key. Now we've got an equipped key method or equipped key property that we can read from. We no longer need to set it. I'm going to remove that on line 45, and we'll save and then do a build. Now let's go try this out and see what it does. You're going to notice that it almost works, but there's still one little issue here. If we go pick up our 2 keys, let's go grab them real quick. And don't forget to remember what key you bound your next equip item to. So I'm going to run over here, grab that key. Looks good. I can hit 3. Doesn't seem to do anything. Okay, looks cool. Let's go grab this blue key. You can see I got the blue key, but I don't see the blue key on me right now. If I hit 3, now I can toggle between them. But look at what that state was when I initially picked up the blue key. It didn't turn on the blue key, and it didn't turn off the yellow key. Well, I mean, the blue key was already on, so it just kind of left it there, but it didn't turn off that yellow key and hide the key away. So we never got the new equipped item. When we picked up an item, it didn't automatically become equipped. And that's what I'd like to change real quick. I'm going to make it so that our item becomes automatically equipped. Now, I think this seems like a perfect opportunity for a small challenge, so if you're up for it, go ahead and see if you can figure out how to equip the item as soon as you pick it up. Do a little bit of refactoring, maybe extract out a single method, and then continue on, and I'll show you my solution for it. All right, I assume that you've gone through it. If not, then not a problem. We're going to run through it right now. The solution is actually pretty simple. When we pick up an item, we just want to equip the most recent key or the most recent thing that we've grabbed. So first, let's get rid of the start and update. I don't know how those got in there. I thought I deleted them. And then let's add a little bit of code here. So when we pick up, we're going to add an item, and then let's just set our current index to be our last index. We'll say it's equal to items.count -1. So this will give us our last index in the array. Next, let's take our code that updates or toggles our active item and just extract it into a method. So we'll take lines 29 through 32, Control Shift, or let's hit Alt Enter, there we go, and choose extract method. And I'm going to call this toggle equipped 2Ps item. There we go. So I've got a toggle equipped item that's just going to set the state of our item correctly based on whichever one's the current one. And I'll copy that call to toggle equipped item and paste it down here in the bottom of pickup. Get rid of that extra line there. Let's jump back into Unity. Got a little plastic error, not a problem. We'll press play, and now I expect that when I pick up the yellow key, it gets equipped. And then when I run over and pick up the blue key gets equipped. Let's see. So yellow key is equipped. I can see the yellow key right there. I go grab the blue key. The yellow key is off and the blue key is on. And if I hit 3, I can switch between them. So far, so good. Let's stop playing, go into plastic, make sure that we've saved our scene. And I just want to make sure that I've saved my project. I don't think there's anything different in there. It looks good. And so we added player inventory item switching and check in.